Yeah, well, when did she actually do the test and determine that she was in fact native in the
So
order of
what
1/1000?
ended up happening is I kept escalating it. I said, Elizabeth Warren, I'll give you my $10 million building in Cambridge if you take the test. Okay. We ran a DNA test and we had a lot of fun doing this. I also want to let people know that we invite everyone to come to an orientation. Every Thursdays at 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. I host an open house. Lots of great people show up. You have a lot of chance to meet people from all over the world. Every Thursdays we do a open house. Anyone's invited. You can just RSVP at vashiva.com/orientation. We have people all over the world come in and we discuss how we actually build a movement to end the nonsense that's going on. If you think, oh my God, the world's going to hell, I'm so confused, you'll get very inspired at seeing there's a lot of people who are coming to our movement for truth, freedom, and health. Please join us there. But we were doing this to expose the hypocrisy of these liberal elites, right? They say one thing, one rule for them, another rule for another. Finally, the day she took the test we did this massive guerrilla campaign where we put out 8-foot by 10-foot signs on every freaking highway in Massachusetts. And then after I did that, then Don Jr. says, oh, I'll give you $10,000. And they try to take credit for our work. Okay. She takes a test and they have to sprinkle in Peruvian genes to eat, because the way DNA testing goes, it's a probabilistic measure. It's not a perfect, gene to gene. And then she found out that she was one out of, I think, 1024 Indian. But the interesting thing was in that election, both the Republicans and Democrats colluded to keep me off the debate stage, both of them, because I think the bottom, and what that reveals, David, is this bigger issue. They do not want independent movements. These people are affinity frauds, right? One group uses, oh, we're Republicans. They use that affinity. Another group uses a Republican affinity or Democrat affinity. And they just play the stupid game, but they do not want an independent movement. In 2020, we decided to run, okay, we're going to run as Republicans, because that year they don't have the state convention where they can do the backroom dealings. We collected our signatures. Not only do we get on the ballot, but this time we have 3,000 people. I mean, our volunteers have grown. In every city in Massachusetts, we had grounds up volunteers. We raised $2 million with $5, $10 donations, not only from Massachusetts, over 60% of our donations came from people from the outside, because I was doing all these videos, so it's great. 3,000 volunteers, 25,000 lawn signs, 10,000 bumper stickers. We had huge billboard signs raised from all these bottoms. You can leave Massachusetts without seeing a Dr. Shiva sign. The Republicans, this is a primary now, the Republican primary I'm running, decide to run an idiot against me who was a chosen appointed one. It's like they went and found a guy whose last name is O'Connor, okay, in Massachusetts, okay? He didn't even have one lawn sign up, maybe two somewhere, right? Like I couldn't see any of them. No movement, no grassroots movement. And September 1st, 2020 is our primary election. Even Republicans who are against our movement said Dr. Shiva is going to win on a landslide. I mean, that was all over. And in Massachusetts, there's 9 major counties, right? One of those counties in Franklin County. And what's really great is, again, to the people who think this is a race issue, whether you're white or black, everyone supported our campaign. People saw me as one of them coming bottoms up. So on September 1st, 2020, the results are coming in. And in Franklin County, which is all hand counted paper ballots, predominantly, I win by 10 points. In every other county, which is all machine counted votes, 60-40, 60-40, 60-40, 60-40, 60-40. And you got to understand, David, days before this, number of people in our campaign were saying, oh, Shiva, the only way you can lose is if they commit election fraud. I go, that doesn't take place in the United States. Like, you know what I mean? It was, even though, I think about things, I'm critical, I never thought that would occur. Like, that was seen as some wacky idea. So when the results come in and I see this difference, I said, holy shit, this doesn't make any sense, because this guy was nowhere. So that next day, I had to put on my hat now as an engineer, as a scientist, and I learned everything I could do, David. I read everything for the next few days on election systems. And I found out that on the machines, when, the ballot paper goes through, when you fill out your ballot and you put it through, what happens is the paper is read by scanners on the machine. First it's scanned and a digital image is created. So the digital image is a picture of that ballot. And then artificial intelligence software on that machine searches for the dots and it's determining the votes.
Let me stop you there. With this system, put the paper ballot down, it scans it, creates an image of the ballot. What do you do with the original ballot afterwards?
They save it.
Okay.
They save it.
But you put it through a little.
Yes.
Okay.
By the way, on those machines, there is an exception. If it's a write-in candidate, then those are done by hand, okay? Because they can't read it by the machine. But anything else, the machine analyzes the ballot image, all right? And then determines the votes. And so the ballot, so what is actually being counted is not the original paper ballot, but it's the ballot image. You follow?
Yep, absolutely.
All right. And as I studied this, I found out there was a law passed by a Democrat majority 50 years ago, which was 52 USC 20701, which encouraged audits. Because, a lot of black people people were being screwed, right? So people said, hey, we got to be able to audit elections. It was seen as a positive thing to audit elections. It's a good thing, right? You're keeping democracy alive and robust. So 52 USC 20701 says all data in connection with a federal election, states for state elections can do what they want, must be preserved for 22 months. So as I discovered this, I went with 2 of my volunteers with a camera to the Secretary of State's office with my FOIA requests, and I submitted my FOIA request. I said, that was on September 9th. I said, I would like the ballot images. I want to review them. So the guy behind the counter said, we don't save those images. I think we deleted those. Anyway, I send my email. Also, I sent my email request as a FOIA, what's called a public records request, and they have 10 days to respond, okay, to that public records request. Well, they didn't respond. By the 22nd, they should have responded. So I sent another email. The Secretary of State's chief legal counsel, a woman called Michelle Tassinari, very important name to remember, she writes back and says, basically, we don't have to save those images according to law. I go, can you show me the law? My email. Doesn't even answer the question, says, I'm going to send you some PDFs, manuals of the machines. They're completely irrelevant. I write back, I said, you violated federal law. I said, this election is null and void. You're supposed to save the ballot images. So I have now these 4 emails, 2 from me, 2 from her. I take those 4 emails, David, and I go on Twitter and I tweet them out because it's a threaded tweet. Because each image, I said, Secretary of State's office deleted 1 million ballots - ballot images violating federal law. Okay. And then the next, and I put the first email and then the next email. And this is what they responded. So it was a tweet. Sorry. It was a tweet with the emails embedded. Boom. On September 25th. I've never been thrown off Twitter since 2000, but we had moved our campaign to a write-in campaign. People are so pissed. So I'm still a U.S. Senate bona fide candidate, but now running as a bona fide write-in candidate. Okay. So we got screwed. We're running as a write-in candidate. So I'm still a bona fide candidate and I'm still on Twitter tweeting away. But when that went out, within 24 hours, I'm thrown off Twitter. Okay. One of these fake fact-checking organizations.
Do you remember which one?
If you name them, I remember.
Well, you got USA Today, you got Snopes, you got PolitiFact, you got USA. Let me see if the chat's going to get any more.
Yeah, it's up. I forget which one it is. It's the guy. I remember this guy's face because I called him up and we did a Zoom with him.
Oh, then you got Reuters. I mean, there's so many.
No. This was one of these Facebook fact-checking organizations puts out a thing saying Dr.SHIVA is lying. Look how clever they are. Millions of ballots were not deleted.
Yeah, wordsmiths of the devil. Dr.SHIVA is what I call them.
Not the word images, right? I said ballot images, and then they did something very in my favor. They said, we called up the Secretary of State's office, and they told us they had contacted Twitter. I said, wait a minute, the government contacts Twitter, okay, to throw me off. I didn't know enough about election law, but I knew something about the First Amendment. I searched day and night to try to find a lawyer who would sue them on violation of the First Amendment. This is like political speech is the most protected speech of the First Amendment, right? I should be able to say whatever I want, as vile as the comments can be against the king, right? Or against a senator, so I wasn't even saying anything vile. I was just exposing their malfeasance.
They didn't give you an explanation, like you disclosed someone's email address, private information.
No. By the way, this is a public official. The email address is right on the website.
No, but that's what I mean. I'm just asking if they gave you an explanation.
No, it said, I think, election misinformation or something.
Okay, fine.
Okay, I forget what it was. Okay, and they forced me to delete those tweets and threw me off. Okay,